What's up? Hello, good morning. Well, it's good morning for me, but you might be watching me at night, in the middle of the day, when you're breastfeeding your child, who knows? I wanted to talk to you guys today about the importance of having your child sleep all night. Oh my God, you guys want that, right? You totally want to sleep all night. So, a little bit about me. I teach for different universities and colleges. I get paid a nice sum of money to go to big corporations and teach their employees work-life balance and parenting skills. But I'm coming to you for free so that you can have access that everyone else who pays for it has, because I think everyone should have this type of education. I think the world will be a better place if we all learn how to help our children, because that helps us. It also helps our economy, helps the future generations. Why not learn? Okay, so today's topic is, how do you get your child to sleep all night? Where I live in LA, people pay a ton of money for these sleep specialists. I don't know why I use air quotes, but sometimes I'm like, I don't think that person's really qualified, but okay. If it works, great. Sometimes people read so many different books. One thing I want to tell you is listen to my first few videos on sleeping. The first things you want to do are really truly make sure that you set a schedule for your child during the day and a regular bedtime routine. Obviously, check with your pediatrician. If there are any health concerns that your pediatrician or you have, this is not for you. Okay, each child is different. This is for the child that's like your typical by the book child, okay? First thing, usually when your child is above 10, 12 pounds, they're usually able to sleep through the night. I go by the rule of eat, play, sleep. Eat, play, sleep. Okay, and right now I'm focusing on 5 months to 12 months. So I'm not talking about the infants, the newborn to 5 months. If that's an interest for you guys, I can have a new set of videos for that age group, perfectly fine. But what I wanted to talk about is the 5 months to 12, and to talk about at that point, your child, most infants are able to sleep through the night. So I know I mentioned it in one of my videos for nighttime sleeping is turn off your monitor, okay? This helps when you want your child to sleep through the night, and we all do. When you want your child to sleep through the night, you want to be able to separate from them a little bit, okay? Especially if you're breastfeeding, they can smell your breast. Your breasts will enlarge even when they're sleeping. You will still leak. So if you're moving around and you're waking up and you're leaking and you just are like, I'll just feed them so that I can feel better. If you don't want to do the whole milking or the whole lactation thing in the middle of the night, listen, I've been there, I get it. So one thing that's easier to do is have them in a separate room. Again, you might not be comfortable. You might disagree with me. I'm not here to say to you, oh yes, keep doing what you're doing. I'm here to tell you, if you're watching this and you're looking for a change, understand that you might have to do something you're uncomfortable with. So if you're in a safe environment, if you have security cameras outside and you're not worried about your child being in a separate room, I would have your child in a separate room. I would turn off your monitor. You can still hear your child cry from another room. It will be okay. It will be okay that you don't have to run to your child the moment you hear them cry. Again, some people go under a rule that they don't ever like to hear a child cry. That's your call. I'm telling you what's worked for me and what's worked for hundreds of my clients. Turn off your monitor. Sleep in a separate room. Take your time getting to your child. The first couple nights, you just want to get used to the fact that you hear them at night without your monitor. You don't have to be watching them all the time. That's a big, major source of anxiety. Our society already has anxiety issues, And when we're constantly watching something, especially a baby that's just moving around, probably talking, having fun, we're anxious. Oh my God, what's going on? What's happening? Another thing, if you have the luxury of having a significant other that's not breastfeeding in the bed with you, and your child's in a separate room, work again, there's where that communication comes in. Talk to your significant other and have them go into the room when your child cries. Do this just, for a week. Try it out. You don't have to let them cry it out. You just take your time. You have your significant other go over to soothe them. My rule is at night, don't pick them up. Okay? My husband, I always call him the baby whisperer. He'd go in, he'd just put his hand on the child's back and just talk to them. And he always says he spreads his energy into them of like calm. I sometimes take their energy and I get their energy. He takes his energy of calm and he spreads it to them. I know it sounds kind of like woo-woo, but honestly, it totally works. And he'd put his hand on their chest, in their back, depending on where they were sleeping. And he'd just talk to them. You're okay. I'm here. It's okay. Take a breath. You just talk to them. You give them that calm, gentle energy. And if after you do this for a while, the child doesn't feel the need to be held, they usually calm down and then you're able to leave. So this, again, it takes a couple nights for this routine to set in place. But remember, your 5-month-old to a year has not been on this earth for that long. So just a couple nights creates a brand new habit for them. After that, and again, this is after you know that they're not hungry. Sometimes especially when you're breastfeeding, you realize at some point in the middle of the night that they're just playing, or they're using you as a pacifier, or they're just looking around and they're just using you for comfort. Okay, so once you know that it's just comfort because you're feeding them plenty during the day, especially around 6 months when they start getting solid foods, they're eating. Okay, you also want them to eat during the day. So you want them hungrier during the day. So after a few nights of this where you can have somebody else, or even you, if you're alone, that's fine. Your goal is to try not to pick them up, because the moment you start picking them up, they understand. I cry, I get held. I cry, I get held. You want them to realize, I cry, mom and dad say, it's okay, I'm right here. You can calm yourself down. Listen to the sound of my voice. Focus on your breath. And you are talking to your child like you would an adult. They do have to speak like adults eventually, so why not begin that from the time they're born? This I find helps a lot. After your child gets used to that, then I know what method I subscribe to that worked for my own children, and has worked for many other families. And again, this is something that could be controversial and a lot of people aren't comfortable with. Fine. If you're not comfortable with it, you're not going to change your behavior for your child. You know your child better than I do. I don't know your child. So you have to be comfortable with it. So what I do though is after the child's able to calm themselves down and you understand that they don't need to be picked up, they're not hungry, I let them cry. And it's uncomfortable the first night. And I remember when my husband was in the Army and our oldest was 6 months and we were living in a hotel room, all in just one room waiting for a house on the post. And I said, he's not hungry. He's totally fine. We're going to let him cry until he sleeps through the night. And we had our pack and play like against the wall, and my husband and I are laying in, like a queen size bed. And it's like 1:30 in the morning, he wakes up, he starts crying. We're both laying there, we're wide awake because obviously we're in the same room, but we're like, don't move. If he sees us, he's going to start, he's going to really want to play with us. So we let him cry, and I'd be like, oh my gosh, is he okay? Is he doing all right? And my husband would glance over. He's like, he's fine. He's just laying there. He's just crying. Okay, so we know he's fine. And then he cried for a long time. Okay, not all night, but he cried what seemed like forever, but it was probably about an hour, hour and a half. And, it's, calm down, and then cry, and then calm down. And then after an hour and a half, fast asleep. slept all the rest of the night, woke up at 7 in the morning. The next night, he woke up, same time, started crying, because that's usually when I would have fed him. Started crying, and then maybe after 30 minutes, fell asleep and slept for the rest of the night. After that, he did not wake up in the middle of the night at all. To this day, he's 10 years old. He's a fantastic sleeper. All three of my kids sleep very well all night. So again, for some of you, you're not comfortable with that. For some of you, there might be health concerns where that's not okay to have them do that. This is really for people who are looking for another method because maybe they're trying something else and it's just not working. So I'm telling you what worked for me and what's worked for hundreds of my clients and what usually works for my students. Feel free to email me, post something down below if you want me to focus on a different age group or any other topics. Post it. I would love to hear from you guys and help you out. Just remember, be nice to anyone who posts. If you say mean things, I will remove you. So keep that in mind. Be kind to others. If you don't like what I have to say, my feelings aren't hurt. Just don't subscribe. If you like what I have to say, subscribe and keep listening. I'm going to continue to talk about different age groups. So as your child progresses or as you progress with different children's ages, follow along. I hope you have an awesome day. You're amazing. I mean it. Take care. Have a good one, and I'll hear from you soon.